Hello, everybody. My name is Destiny here, and I'm going to give you guys a little synopsis of my whole life story. So, I have a book. It's out. It's called Desert Bloom: The Destiny Harris Story, and it details my life and why people should potentially listen to me. So, I'll just give you a brief overview of the story, and then if you want to learn more, you can look at Amazon. It's Desert Bloom: The Destiny Harris Story. So my life starts off in Denver, Colorado, at Denver Health, December 6, 1989, 10:23 a.m. The start of the book is, I came in the world quick, fast, and in a hurry. My mom is totally only in labor with me for minutes. So my childhood in particular was kind of hard because I didn't have my father too much in my life. Like, he was in there for a little while, and then he left when I was about 3 years old. So I saw him off and on, and still to this day, I've only seen him. I can count the number of times I've seen my father in person on my hands. So that was really hard. My mom, she definitely had to work a lot, and my life is kind of traumatic, I have to say. There's lots of yelling, there's lots of screaming, there's lots of fighting, there's lots of craziness all the time. I mean, but there were good times too. Christmas, New Year's, it was a windy road of uncertainty. We didn't know what was happening, what was going to happen. And then we were homeless for a little while when I was a kid. And we went to the Sacred Heart House and we stayed there. And, there's only a few things that I remember that early in my childhood. And I guess what shaped me was my family. And, I love them so much. But I wouldn't lie to you. The house was very sad. My mom, she dealt with being sad and depression and drinking, and I just watched her drink, watched her be mad and upset and yell and scream, and it was just a normal part of my life. So and my life is a testimony, because I shouldn't even be here. My father, he tried to push my mom down the stairs. Well, did. And, I should have died, but I survived. Pretty much, I'm an overcomer. So, I went to school and had such an awesome time at school. It was like the polar opposite of my home life, which was so chaotic. School was structured. School had stability. School, kept me on the right track. And I started dancing, and then I saw that I had a gift, and, people were, paying attention to my gift. But in school, I was singing, I was dancing, I was doing all those things. I was just trying to hide the pain. I was just trying to hide the pain that was not obvious to some, but hopefully some people did, start to notice that I was acting different. And there would just be so much fear and anxiety whenever I did something, whenever I went on stage, but I would still do it. And I loved singing and dancing and being in musicals. And I went to an art school, and it was just like fame, so I still was hiding it, a very deep secret. And I would hate when my mom would leave, because that's when the monster would come out. And I didn't think that monsters were fake. I knew that monsters were real because I lived with them and I suffered with them for years in silence. So the person that abused me would tell me that he was going to kill my mom if I ever told. He was going to kill my family if I ever told. And I was abused sexually from about 2 years old to about 10 or 12. I don't remember, 10. And that's what set my life up for its crazy course of events. I would always ask God, why weren't you there to help me? Why weren't you there to save me? Why weren't you there to help me at least speak up and tell people what was going on? Pretty much, I don't know if people had an idea what was going on, but the torture and the abuse that I was facing every day, it was like I grew up in hell. A silent hell where I couldn't tell anybody what was going on. So, middle school, high school, I started rebelling. I started doing stuff. I started like running away from home because there was lots of screaming, lots of fighting, and lots of stuff. And, one particular instance, my mom and I had gotten into a fight, and, she was trying to choke me and stuff. So, I tried to get away, and then I told the school counselor, and then social services were called, and eventually I was removed from the house and everything, and I received guardianship, and I went to go stay with what I would call my second mom. She was, full of the Lord and the church and everything, and we had such good times, and it was like a family. And I went into church, and I learned the do's and the don'ts of church life, but I was still hiding that secret. Nobody knew why I was acting the way that I was acting. And then on my 18th birthday, my stepmom and I, we got into a fight, and, she noticed that I was not cleaning as well as I should have. And that's how the fight got started. And I had no idea what PTSD was. I had no idea what what I was facing, all of these obstacles that I was facing. But I just knew that I was an overcomer, and that I was going to overcome it. So she kicks me out, beats me up. Before you know it, I'm on the streets. I'm homeless again. I was, looking for a place to go. And then I got back in contact with my mom, and she said, oh, well, you can stay at your brother's house. She had no idea. So it wasn't his house. It was his girlfriend's house. So I stayed there. It's actually down the street from where I bought my house. And it was chaos. I didn't know how to get a job. I didn't know what a job was. I was hungry, so I went down to the office, to the government office, and they signed me up and everything, and I was able to eat. And that summer, I remember I just turned into a different person. I wanted to hide my pain. I wanted to hide all the stuff that I'd held for years. And the only way to hide that was through drugs, through drinking. So I started a binge that summer when I got out, when I got kicked out of that house. I left the church, and then I started drinking. One summer, I remember waking up not even knowing what had happened. I got robbed. God only knows what else happened to me. I was so drunk. I probably should have gone to the hospital. That's how drunk I was. But that summer, I met a guy, and he was really nice, and he was a Frenchman, and you know he was like super interesting and super daring and super romantic, French. So I meet this French guy, and we're just doing our thing, and he starts, saying stuff, and eventually we start being in a relationship together. And so for that whole 2 years, we were in a relationship together, and I saw him off and on when I went to college. And he was nice. And then the next summer, I met him, and we hung out for a little bit, and then I noticed that all of these other women were. I kept asking him, Frank, who are these women? Who are these women? And he said, oh yeah, those are the women that I've been sleeping with. And I was like, but I thought that you loved me. I thought we were going to get married. And he basically said that's just what he does, and I should just live with it. And then I told him, yeah, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's with all these people. And long story short, he assaulted me. So I left, and again, I didn't tell anybody. And then I dropped out of school. I lost my scholarship. I was just trying to find my way. I got a job at at a government job, and I just forgot about everything that had happened to me all these years. And then I finally was like, let's just have a regular life. I forgot about all the stuff that was going on, but deep down inside, I knew I needed help. So then I started working at a government job. I worked there for about a year, and I was doing customer service and everything. And then I met this guy at my university that I had dropped out of, and he was still interested in me. He was a pastor, so I thought, okay, this guy is trustworthy. So he flew out, and we spent a whole week together. And I said, Lord, I promise you, I'm not gonna sleep with this person. And then we did end up sleeping together, and I thought he was gonna marry me. And instead of him marrying me, he ghosted me, and he left me like high and dry. I never heard from him again. Still to this day, I never heard from him again. And that was the last straw for me. So then I think that was around 2012. I don't remember. But I went crazy. I lost everything. I lost my house. I lost my car. I lost my government job. I lost everything. I just got into this mode of I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no idea. I lost my sanity. But the Lord, he was speaking to me through that. He would appear to me, and he would tell me that I'm going to do an album, that he would tell me that I'm going to talk to people around the world. He would prophesy to me. He would say, this is what you're going to do. And the enemy, he himself would show up to me too. And I remember his face. I remember his black blue face, and his snarl, and his horns that went all the way into his brain. And he would tell me, you should just kill yourself. You should just give up, and you should just kill yourself. And so I fought with that. I fought with seeing angels, and I fought with seeing the devil. I fought with seeing Jesus. I fought with seeing all these things. My spiritual eyes were still open, they're still activated, but it was at the point where I broke my promise to God, and I slept with this person, and it invited, obviously, craziness into me. So eventually I was couch surfing, I was couch hopping, and I went to all these different people's houses, and they tried to help me, but they were wondering why I kept doing this, like what was going on, And eventually, like, I went with my mom, and then I went with my grandma, and then my grandma, she said, she didn't say anything. She just was like trying to get me committed. So at 23, I was committed into a mental hospital. Actually, that mental hospital is so close, I could walk to it. So she admitted me to the hospital here in Colorado. And for about 2 months, I stayed in that mental hospital, and I just tried to still hide what was going on. And my therapist, she said, "What's wrong? What happened?" And for the first time in 23 years, I told her, I was abused by this person. I was abused by this person. This happened from 2 years old to 12 years old, and this is what they would do. They would torture me. They would abuse me. They would rape me. They would literally find ways to torture me. And I finally told the therapist, and she said, "I'm sorry that happened to you, but you don't have to keep that in your mind." She's like, "You can get counseling, you can get on medication, and you can start trying to fix your life and improve it." So that was the step. And then there was a pastor. He came into the place, the mental hospital, and he said, "It doesn't matter what the people did to you. You just need to forgive them." So I started on a process of forgiveness. 23 years old, I get out of the mental hospital. I go back in with my mom, and it's the same thing. Screaming, fighting, all this stuff that I grew up with. It was stressing me out. And, I said, "Mom, hey, can I go to the store, to the food bank, and get some food for us, because we didn't have any food?" And she said, "No." I said, "I just need to borrow, use the car. You don't even have to I don't even have to use the car. You can just drop me off and pick me up. And I just need some, to get some food for the car. Food for the house." And she said, "No." So that day, or not that week, I just said, "Okay." So I knew she wasn't going to feed me. So she's basically kicking me out. So, I left with two of my bags. And then I went downtown, and I was homeless. I meet this guy, and come to find out, he was a Satanist. And we struck a relationship. I did love God, but at the same time, I was going from back and forth, and I was in the world. I did love Jesus. I really did, but I didn't know about my spiritual gifts. I didn't know about prophecy and, just the spiritual stuff. It was just it was kind of like, I knew that I had power and stuff, but I didn't know how to use it. I knew that there was such thing as prophecy, but I didn't know that I was a prophet. So I meet this guy, and he's into witchcraft. So he kind of introduced me to witchcraft, and I still kept saying, "No, I don't want to do this because I love Jesus." There was a pull back and forth, but, eventually, it wore me down. We got married, and then all of a sudden, I'm in this house with this guy who's basically, practicing witchcraft. He's a Mason. He was really deep into it. And eventually, I got into it, but I didn't get into it just because I wanted to. It was, everything was fine for 2 years. I stayed at home pretty much, and he went to work, and that was good. And then it switched. I went to work, and then he went to school. He got his massage therapy license, and then I went back to going to working at home because he let me, because it was, he had a job now, and we were about to buy a house and everything. And then he got sick. He went into renal kidney failure, and again, we lost everything. We lost our house, we lost our cat, we lost our dog, we lost all that stuff. And I said this prayer in my heart. I said, God, I need a place to stay. We were homeless for about 2 years. We lived in the car off and on. Well, we lived pretty much in our car. And I watched my ex-husband go to dialysis and die. And that was horrible. And then one day we were going down the street. I was working like 14-hour shifts. I was working, and then all this stuff. I was working, and then we would go sleep at the hospital. So one night I'm like, one day I'm driving down this place, and it's like apartments. So I look, and I go get an apartment, and God opens the door, and it was the worst apartment because I had an eviction. And this apartment was so bad. It was horrible, right? But it was an apartment. It was a place to stay. It was about 400 square feet, maybe 200. Honestly, it was a room with a closet and a kitchen and a sink, a small sink. That's all it was. And we lived there for almost 3 years. And I watched my husband deteriorate. He used to be a big guy, and he went from being a big, huge 200-pound guy, big teddy bear, to a sickly, skinny person. And eventually we did get divorced. But in that place of utter desperation, my car getting repoed, everything just going down, and living in this small little horrible apartment, I said to myself, God, if this is serving you, then I don't want you anymore. I said, I want you. So I kicked the Lord out of my life for about maybe like 4 months. And I finally gave in to my, husband's ways, and started doing like Satan worship and witchcraft, and what else? New Age. I got really heavy into New Age. I went to school, and I became a massage therapist myself. What else? I sold my soul, and I started training to be one of the biggest witches here in Colorado. They were trying to recruit me, and they were, the witches and warlocks were trying to recruit me, but still in the back of my head, I'm like, well, if I go all the way, then am I coming back? Am I ever going to come back? So the Scientologists, they were trying to get me to go to their church, because you can live at the Scientologist church. I don't know if you know that, but you can live there, because basically if you work at the church, then they give you a place to stay, but you are basically their slave pretty much. The enemy started talking to me, and he said, you're going to write a book. And he said, your book is going to sell, and you're going to be like J.K. Rowling. And he gave me this satanic book. I still know it in my head, but I don't have any of the recordings or any of the story plot. I just try to forget it. And so I started working on my book, and things got even worse and worse and worse. And every time I would go outside, it would start raining. But the Lord, he was trying to get me. He was trying to get me again. I didn't tell my husband about what happened. I didn't tell my husband. I didn't tell anybody what happened. So then he knew that something was going on because I couldn't sleep with the light off. And one time he took the light off. He turned the light off, and I screamed for bloody murder. I screamed, and I said, "Why did you turn the light off?" And it was like that daily. I was tortured. I would have the same nightmares over and over again. I would wake up in cold sweats all the time, because of the abuse and everything. And I went to the church. Some guy invited me. I was on the bus, right? Because I didn't have a car, right? So he said, "Well, Jesus, he saved my life and everything." And I had something that was going on in my hand, and the Lord, he took that away from me, and he delivered me. And I used to have nightmares, and I could sleep. And I told the guy, I said, well, I didn't tell him, but in my head, I was like, I've had nightmares since I was 3 years old, reoccurring nightmares all my life, right? And I said, Lord, if you can take away his nightmares, then maybe you can take away mine. So the Lord was always calling me back, no matter what I did, no matter what video I watched on how to summon spirits or tarot cards or whatever I did, the Lord was still there, and he was trying to get me. He was trying to bring me back to him, and, so my husband and I were fighting, and he was violent. He would, something would come over him, and it would literally try to say the most evil things to me. And I would just be looking at him like he's a totally different person. I didn't even know about deliverance or nothing like that. All I knew was this man was crazy. He would morph into something like from 0 to 100 real quick. And he would whisper in my ears while he was throwing things, while he was throwing stuff at me, while he was trying to hurt me, and so that's what I had to deal with in my life. And then finally, I went to that church because I rented a car, and I didn't know that I was on assignment. So the enemy was like, okay, so you're going to curse this church. So you're going to curse this church, and you're going to try and kill the pastor. And in my head, I was like, what? So I go, and I'm trying to get to the pastor, and I'm just like full of the devil, okay? So then the pastor, he stands up, and he starts walking toward me, but I couldn't do anything. I felt like I could see that there were angels, and they were holding me down. And I'm looking around, and I couldn't speak. I couldn't do anything but just breathe. I was like stuck there, like, oh my gosh. So the pastor, he gets up, and I'm supposed to go and attack him, but I couldn't even do anything. I was just there, right? So he comes down, and he shakes my hand. Thank you, Jesus. He shakes my hand, and he goes, God bless you. He shakes my hand, and the fire and the power of God hits me. Like lightning bolt hits me. And then all of a sudden, I'm in my right mind, and I'm regular. And he's like, God bless you. Nice to meet you. Then he goes back up to the pulpit, and I'm like, okay, I feel better. So that guy, he talked about the Father and coming back to the Father. That was his simple sermon. He said, the Father wants you to come back. And I gave my life to the Lord again. And the Lord appeared to me at that church, and he started having a conversation with me. He said, Destiny, your heart is full of all of these evil things. And he said, anger, rage, hate, abuse. He said, if you give those things to me, then I can help you. So I said, okay, Lord. So I'm driving. It's like 3:00 in the morning, and I went to my car, and I confessed everything that I ever did in my life. And I heard the Holy Spirit say, okay, now we can talk. And I've been having conversations with God ever since then, right? My husband and I, we got divorced. I don't know if he's still alive or not. I offered him my kidney, but he didn't want it. So I don't know if he's still alive or not, but and then 3 years go by, and I was just living my life, and now where I'm at is at a place of peace. I moved into my house. There's been lots of things that happened because of COVID and everything. I was alone during COVID and stuff. That was hard. But what I know is that if I can overcome all of these things, then you can too. I'm in regular therapy, right? My therapist, she diagnosed me with complex PTSD. And I know that I'm only alive by God's grace, and I'm only in the right state of mind because of Jesus. So what I do now is I hold live videos. I have a charity. It's called Destiny Harris Ministries, and we preach and we teach. We're in like maybe 10 countries now. We're starting. Oops, we're starting a school, and that's what I do. I love to talk to people about the Lord and tell my testimony about my life of witchcraft and formal witchcraft. And there's been lots of people that I've met on the live videos, and they've said, I want to give my life to Jesus because of your story. So that's what I do is I run the church and our Facebook group. We have about 109 members on the group right now. And, just an update to the story. The person who had abused me actually was put into prison for about 7 or so years for doing the same thing to one of his ex-girlfriends. And it kind of gave me justice to know that this person is behind bars and they can't hurt me no more. And it also gave me justice knowing that I wasn't lying, that I was telling the truth. So, this is just a basic overview of the story. And, what I've learned in my life is God is good no matter what, and still keeping joy and still conquering things. Like no matter what you're facing, you can conquer them. You can overcome them. You can give those things to the Lord, and He can help you overcome them. Whatever you're struggling with, what I struggled with, I overcame. I overcame drugs. I overcame abuse. I overcame poverty. I overcame hell. I overcame death. I overcame insanity, right? I'm a living testament that God can still overcome. And if I can overcome all those things, then you can overcome too. So I entered into a competition to sing, and the Lord has used my voice. And I'm going to sing my song, and hopefully you guys can vote for me. It's You God's Music. So you'll have to go to yougodsmusic.org, and voting starts April 23rd. So you can go and vote for me. My name under there is Destiny Michelle. So yeah, the winner gets a record deal and gets flown out to Nashville, and that's so amazing. I'm so excited to be in the running. I think it's like the top 50 that I'm in. So that's why I did this video about my testimony. So yeah, if you want to know more, check out my book, on Amazon, Destiny Harris, story. It's Desert Bloom, the Destiny Harris story. Go check out the rest of the story because I left some stuff out. But also check out our Facebook group. Our church is growing. We're getting bigger and better every day. We are a 501c nonprofit now. We're established nonprofit. We're looking also for funding as well. So, just know that you can do it. Doesn't matter what happens to you. Problems and issues and struggles are just God's voice in disguise. You just have to see what God is trying to say to you through this. And throughout all of that, I knew God was with me. And throughout all the pain, I knew that God was saying, you are an overcomer. No matter what happens to you, you are an overcomer. So you can look into your face and you can say, if Destiny overcame, I can overcome too. If Destiny made it out, I can make it out too. So anyways, my name is Destiny Harris with Destiny Harris Ministries. If you like to book some time with me, as I am a coach, speaker, all that. I do a lot of stuff, real estate, whatever. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can go to bookvid/Destiny Harris, Destiny H, and you can schedule a time with me. I do life coaching and everything. So just know that you can do it. I love encouraging people to do their best because there's no excuse. If I can look at myself in the mirror and tell myself there's no excuse, Destiny, despite what's happened to me, you have no excuse. You have to get up. You have to change your life. You have to do it now. If you don't do it now, you won't do it later. So anyways, hopefully I inspired you. And hopefully this has helped you. And I'm going to do my song real quick to end this. I was trying to get it under 30 minutes, but hey, we did it good because usually I'm long-winded. So anyways, this song is called, wait a minute, let me see. Let me turn this up real quick. Oh yeah. This song is called, let me see if I can put this on my thing here. I got the mic, so I got the mic. Thanks for the likes. Make sure you tell all your friends and family about the upcoming voting. The voting is going to start April 23rd. I'm going to be promoting this video. I'm going to be promoting everywhere that I can that I'm on this competition for You God's Music. So go to yougodsmusic.org and vote for Destiny Michelle. What? And this song, the Lord, he just gave it to me one day. I was doing a Bible study and the prophetess was talking about, for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross. He endured for the joy that was set before him. So the Holy Spirit kind of took over my body and was like, I want to do a song about this. And then this song came, and then I said, wow, Lord, this is an awesome song. I had to learn it. That's usually how it works. I sing the song once. I sung it once, and then I had to learn it. And I'm like, wow, okay, Lord, this is a good song. So then that's where it came from. And he said, you need to enter it into a music competition. So I Googled it. I'm like, Lord, where is this competition at? So I Googled it, and I'm entered into the You God's Music competition. Okay. So hopefully you like this. This is a, I would say a country song, not a traditional country, but it's contemporary country. I didn't know that I wrote country, but I write country. I write everything. I write all types of music. So one of my songs is on Amazon. You can get that on Amazon too. It's called what is it called? Oh, Fresh Oil New Wine. That's like an Afro beat, and you can find that out. But this is country too. So let's get her done. Wait, hold on. Let me start it again. Wait a minute. It's when the beat comes in is when I start. This is when I start counting. Sorry. Look at what you've gotten yourself into. Look at where you are, separated from me. Oh, I went to hell and back to get you. For the joy, for the glory, for the joy that was set before me. For the joy, for the glory, for the joy that was set before me. I knew you before you knew you. I knew you would betray me. I saw when you ate the fruit, the death that came instead of the life I gave. I saw it when you stumbled and fell again and again. It doesn't matter what you do, I will love you. I will love you. For the joy, for the glory set before me. I died for you. For the joy, for the glory set before me. I rose for you. I found a place and a space where we could be together forever again. I found a place and a space where we could be together forever again. Every bone and ligament, everything that I had spent, I was thinking of you. I was looking at you. I was imagining us dancing again. For the joy set before me, for the glory I died for you. Nothing else matters but your face. Nothing else matters, but we would be back again. I'm so happy to be here, bleeding and sighing and knowing that you're here, so close to me. Okay, guys, so that's the song. Okay, that's the song. Don't forget to vote for me and You Got Music, and I promise you, I'm practicing every day, and it's going to get better because I'm not a professional. All I do is I sing, and I don't think I would call myself a professional or anything like that. But anyways, we're live on Thursdays and Sundays. Most times we're on YouNow or on Trivo, we're on Bigo, we're on all the O's, okay? So you want more information, we go live Thursday nights at 7:30, or well, actually 6:30, and then Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. God willing. So, anyways, yeah, if you like to get connected, you can join our WhatsApp group. Our church phone number is 720-504-5880. We're going to start a 24-hour prayer line. I'll give also the details to the prayer line if you ever need prayer, if you're ever feeling bad, if you're those feelings, right, that are overwhelming. Reach out to me, reach out to this number. Also reach out to the 24/7 prayer line as well. So this is the church number. If you need assistance, we have 8 auxiliaries in the church. We're actively growing. It's getting so big. If you want to get involved and join our WhatsApp group, make sure that you contact us at that number on WhatsApp. So thank you so much for spending some time with me. And let's see. I always end my sermons with this, but it is true. I love you very much, and Jesus loves you very much more. Make sure that you subscribe, hit the like button, invite your friends, invite your family. We sing. We have a school. It's getting off the ground. It's called Destiny Harris Foundation Schools. So we're a new church. We're just starting, but we want to let you know that Jesus loves you. That's why we exist. That's what it's all for. And thanks so much for watching and listening, and have a good night. Okay, bye-bye.